holding whatever the unit is, whether it's a sewage treatment facility or a lagoon, whatever. So that is something that would be helpful to us, but it is an expense, right? So probably over $1 million. So we have to wear the big boy pants and decide if we're going to go with zone 3 and 4. Because the working group can't move forward. We're basically on hold until Metro Shores decides, because it's 1,888 homes, right? So if we aren't accommodating 1,888 homes, that is, in each one of those homes is 0.7 cubic meters per day, an average flow. That's a lot of cubic capacity that we have to accommodate in the sewage treatment facility or not accommodate. So we have to decide that now. And there was discussions about having a sewer inspection system or septic inspection system, and it's now being encouraged by the government. There's suggestions about working with Arkel to develop a system there as well to deal with zones 3 and 4. And I'm personally quite supportive of a septic inspection system. It has great potential to give people accountability that their systems are working, functioning well, and that we're not providing any unusable contamination to the groundwater too. So the working group really requires a decision, particularly on that, but very much needs assistance with Statistics Canada and as well as the time region, because otherwise we're paying a continual operating costs that are excessive and wasteful.
Councillor Owen.
I guess my question back through you to staff again. Any removal of zone 3 or 4, any change, population statistics, anything will result in a redo of the EA.
Yes, you'd have to amend the EA and post it for public record.
And again, the timeline?
Again, it depends on the scope that you decide upon. It's a large document, several hundred pages.
Yes, I know.
It would take a while.
Councillor Underwood.
I was under the impression that last year we removed zone 3s and 4.
They're on hold.
They're on hold, right? Okay. No, wait, let me finish. All right. So we went through that last year, but in any system that you're going to be creating for 20, 25 years, or even up to 40 years, has to have some fattening for who knows what's going to happen down the road. There's a good chance that in 20 years, zone 3s and 4, it might have to be on sewers. And everybody who's against it today, well, they might be dead. And there might be a whole bunch of new people coming through, and it's like, hey, who knows? They might want that, right? It might happen. It's possible. Meanwhile, we have to have a system that's in place that can accept the possibility of that expansion. Because that's in our master plan. And that's what our EA is based on. I know it's on hold for now, but we have flows that are based upon that possibility. And I think it would be really silly of us not to include that possibility at this point.
Yeah, I think we have to separate the two different things. We put on hold a collection system for zone 3 and zone 4. We can remove some things or whatever. The point is, that was the collection system. The EA, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about EA for a plant.
Yes, for the collection.
So I'll go back to what I said earlier. I always try to make the flow stuff through its flow, and sometimes it becomes it's flowing here, and it gets a little something. But the reality is if we have an EA, a gentleman said we stay with the EA, we stay within the constraints of the EA, we can look at alternatives. If we change the EA constraints, we will not get his technical committee to look at it. He told us that. It was so bottom line stuff. I questioned him 3 times. I asked him directly, do you say that? And he said yes, but within his constraints of a technical, he has his own technical committee. He's going to review whatever our technical committee sets up. So I think the flow things, I think we have to look at phasing. If you want to look at something in terms of it'll still be within the EA, but maybe it's in 2 years or 4 years or 12 years or 18 years. But you still got to go by the EA that's been approved, or we're going to be 2 years down the road or something. So I think the alternatives have to be within the EA that's existing. The actual collection systems, they've been put on hold. They're EAs. It's completely different thing altogether. We'd have to start all over again with zone set aside right now, because the Pinery's part of that one, so it was passed. We don't have any choice, we can't take it away, we've just said we're not doing anything in zone 4 other than the Pinery. So those guys are on hold right now, but where we're at with the actual plant is we have to pursue the EA that exists.
Master plan,
And the master plan, sorry, we don't have a choice.
which covers the area.
He told us he wouldn't look at it.
That's right. Counselor Owen.
There are two documents, and I hope we've all read them. One is the 2006 master plan, and then the second is the environmental study report for the sanitary treatment facilities. Okay, that ESR report still stands. It dictates the flow, it dictates the size of the plant for the whole study area, but certainly the flow for Lambton Shores. All we have control over here to tell staff is the flows for Lambton Shores, and you've hit it right on. It's a phasing process, and we're gonna look at alternatives. If we make any change, remove zone 3 or 4 from the plant ESR, we're back to square one, we're done. No
$0.
grant, no nothing.
$0.
It's $0. We're not getting it. He said it clearly, it's in our minutes. It's a substantive change. It's a substantive change to the master plan and the ESR.
Deputy Mayor Hageman.
That was actually my very first point. My very first point was that was what we're insisting on as a working group, that it's going to be a phased-in approach. Whatever we're doing is expandable. And the question is are we doing zones 3 and 4 within the 20-year life design of the plant currently? Is it going to be in the first phase? Are we planning to accommodate all of that? No, we can't, because it'll be in the second phase. And the beauty of that is that Blue Water will be under the same constraints if the Ontario requires us to have everyone on sewer systems. So they'll be as eager to have an expansion to the plant as we will. And then at that point, we can accommodate 1,800 houses of our own. They will accommodate how much they need in an expansion. So the idea is that to begin with, we have to accept that zones 3 and 4 are not going to be within this time frame. We have to wait until Blue Water comes on. If they have a governmental requirement, we have the government requirement too. But right now, there's no need for us to spend money because we can't spend the $44 to $66 million right now for zones 3 and 4 because we have no government grant monies for it. And that has to be realistically considered. So we're not going to be doing that anytime in the near future. And we're not going to do that until the government requires it. So then Blue Water will be required as well. So let's be realistic. Not zone 3 and 4 in the first phase. Whatever we do is expandable, 2-phase. We can still, yes, absolutely, give an application to the Building Canada saying all of this is accommodated within the full anticipation of this plan, but and the environmental assessment. But we can only deal with the first phase at this point, and it includes all of these various items which do not phase zones 3 and 4.
Counselor Underwood, then Counselor Cook.
I have a question and possible motion after. I'll ask a question to Deputy Mayor for you. So are you saying that you want to be able to design a plan with potential for expansion, but it's still going to fall within our existing EA that we have right now and our flows? Like the potential is there. It's going to be there to prepare us so if we need those extra flows, we simply can, at that point, get the money from the party that wants to come in and we will expand.
That
to
is what my
potential.
understanding is.
So you don't want to change the EA or anything like that.
It gives us the opportunity to accommodate that in the future.
So I make a motion that we direct our working group representative for the sewage board that we work towards a sewage plant within the existing flows and the parameters of the master plan and our EA as it stands today, so that we can maintain our funding for the Build Canada.
Okay, moved, seconded. Questions on that? Counselor Russell.
Friendly amendment? Friendly amendment? Amendment with a phased approach.
Has to have.
Possible phased approach, because we don't know what's going to happen.
Possible.